What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another special YouTube video. Today we are going to be hopping into a beautiful reaction. It's a reaction I used to react to quite some time ago, and I haven't done it ever since, and I figured there's a better opportunity to do this. And what better place to do this than here on the biggest YouTube channel of 2026. I was gonna say 2016, but I don't know why I was going there with it. But, yeah. But let's get into it. It's gonna be dangmattsmith reacting to true scary story animations. Let's get into it. Gonna first get out the stupid ad. It's a stupid advertisement.
I look like somebody's grandma, but reacting to true story scary animations. Guys, it's a brand spanking new one. And you guys already know, get your snacks. Go ahead, get the popcorn, the chips, the candy, the soda, the peanuts. What else y'all eat? The pizza, anything. Grab it. That's what she said. Anyway, and if I carried your childhood, or if I'm carrying your childhood, then please give the video a like and give this video to 1 million views, please.
Oh yeah, you better, daddy.
And gotta give a shout out to MJV Animations. They're the ones that make these amazing animations we're about to watch.
I'll put the two channels in the link in the description. The dangmattsmith channel, the MJF Animations. So that way you guys could go both check out their channels. Give them a subscribe and tell them May sent you. Please do that.
Click the link in the description below. Check them out. Woo, we ready? Let's go. Turn the lights off. Get your blankets and let's do it. Here we go.
It was snowing on this Halloween. Me and my friend group were all planning to have a big night of trick-or-treating, but with the snow coming down pretty heavily, a lot of their parents wouldn't let them out for too long. To be fair, it usually wasn't this bad in October around here, but for the last week, our city was in the middle of an early snowstorm. Anyway, it ended up being just me and my friends John and Hayden. They were still able and willing to go trick-or-treating. We all put on some heavy snow gear, boots, jackets, hats, all that stuff. Pretty much the only parts of our costumes you could see were the masks we were wearing. We started trick-or-treating. For the first couple hours, there were a decent amount of kids running around doing the same as us. But once the sun got lower, it was basically just us three, walking around in the snow. We continued going door to door, eventually getting up to one of the houses on the corner of the block. There was nothing unusual about it. We went up, knocked on the door, and got candy from the older woman that lived there.
My question
But
is,
it was
why
when
is
we
it
turned to leave
snowing
the
on
porch
Halloween?
that we walked past a man on the driveway.
That don't make sense. I don't think
He
I've
had
ever
a
seen
thick
it
jacket
snow on Halloween.
and a really creepy mask.
Huh.
More creepy than the typical ones you see, as this one looked kind of realistic.
Is that Momo?
Even having long
what I was
black
about to
hair
say.
attached to it, draping
Momo,
over
bro?
his shoulders. Hayden said he recognized the mask as Momo, which, if you were
That's what
around
he
on the internet about a decade ago, you've probably heard of it. It's unsettling to say the least, but definitely not something most younger kids
Michael
would
Jackson.
be comfortable with seeing, even on Halloween. We all noticed him and felt really weird about it. The man wasn't walking up or down the driveway. He was just standing there in the snow,
That's
watching
Michael Jackson, bro.
We continued
He's
down
alive.
the sidewalk, turning back a
He's
few times to look
alive.
at him, but the blizzard quickly covered up our view of him. I think another thing that made us feel a little uneasy about it was that it was clearly a man, not a kid. He was tall and completely alone out there. So what was he doing? John convinced us to skip a few houses, just to be safe. I don't think any of us wanted to run into that guy again.
Yeah, not today.
We crossed over to the next street and got back to going door to door. Have to say, The whiteout from the snow, keeping us from seeing anything more than a house or two down the road, made things a lot more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We had no idea if the man was still out there. I think 30 minutes passed. The sun was fully down, and even the streetlights were barely beaming through the falling snow. It was around then that John said he had to go back home, since his parents told him to be back by sundown, if it was still snowing. Hayden and I walked with him back to his house, then decided on what to do with just the two of us. I know it hadn't really been that long, but by this point, neither of us were thinking about that creepy man anymore.
Ugh.
He hadn't actually done anything, and we never saw him following us.
Where's your bags of
We had
candy?
no reason to keep thinking about it.
It's in their pants.
Me and Hayden went to a few more doors and got some more candy before we both were getting really cold and found ourselves just not enjoying it too much. So Hayden split ways and went back home, leaving me to head back to my house alone.
No.
It was about a 15-minute walk away, but in the
And that
snow,
creepy guy's
probably
back?
longer.
Hmm.
Almost immediately, once it was just me out there, it hardly felt like Halloween. Snow covering every inch of the neighborhood, and nobody else walking around. Literally just me. Once I realized that, I started getting a little paranoid, looking all around and hoping to see another group of trick-or-treaters. But instead, I saw something else. On the
Damn.
other side of the street from the sidewalk I was on, there was a forest. And through the trees,
Oh no.
someone was watching me.
See,
You're
I knew
cooked.
it
At
was
first, I just saw his figure,
Yep.
standing far back, and mostly covered by the darkness and the falling snow. But as I continued walking and looking across the street, the figure moved with me, matching my pace and staying in view of me. I started to walk faster, eventually getting to a turn where I could go deeper into the neighborhood, where there were more houses and no forest.
Run, man.
But the figure followed. He walked out of the tree line, and when he passed under a streetlight, I saw that same disturbing mask with the long black hair. He must have followed us the entire time, waiting for one of us to be alone. I hurried, moving as fast as I could. The empty and quiet streets made it feel like I was running for my life in an abandoned neighborhood.
That's as fast as you
When
can
I
go.
made it home, I locked the door behind me, but for some reason didn't tell my parents what was happening. I just went straight to my room. I guess I was scared to admit that I thought someone was actually following me, as if not admitting it would
That's
somehow make
crazy.
it not true. For a few minutes, I just sat on my bed and caught my breath, until the doorbell rang.
Oh.
I immediately felt a chill run through me.
Don't answer
I
it.
saw no one else outside
You
while I
dummy.
was running back home. I heard my parents talking, confused that any kids were still out trick-or-treating.
That's crazy.
My
dude.
mom
Like,
went
why?
and grabbed some of the candy that they'd already put
Use
away.
your brain,
Then
man.
she answered the door. As she did, I quietly walked around to the hallway,
Heck no.
looked down at who was at the door. My stomach dropped. It was the tall man in the mask, and although I couldn't see his eyes,
Bro.
I know he saw me at the back of the hallway. He didn't even take any candy or say anything to my mom. He just walked away. Likely, the man was hoping I would be alone. My mom found it really creepy and strange, knowing as well that it was an adult. But she
So
assumed
that's when
it
you
was
lock
just a
the
dumb
door
Halloween
and call the
prank.
police. Hello.
I never told her what really
My
happened,
God.
or what that man was really trying to do that night.
No, and that's why I don't trust people wearing masks. That boy was walking so slow, you should have been in a full sprint as soon as you saw that Momo-looking thing. No trick-or-treating for me, not today, Satan. Okay, don't go anywhere. Watch another one with me, please. Let's check it out. Here we go.
The Autumn Festival was definitely something our town lived for. One night a year when Main Street didn't feel like an actual ghost town. The courthouse steps glowed underneath orange string lights. The smell of cider hung in the air. And every shop front had pumpkins propped up in the windows, scarecrows left and right.
Yes, yes.
You could almost trick yourself into thinking that we were part of some postcard perfect New England hamlet. instead of a place where the Dairy Queen had gone under.
Dairy Queen?
But twice.
I love Dairy Queen. Shout out
I
to
was
Dairy
stuck running the
Queen.
ring toss booth with 3 of my friends, our quote-unquote volunteer hours for National Honor Society. Mostly, it meant leaning up against the counter, heckling kids who couldn't throw a plastic ring over a 2-liter bottle. The prizes were dollar store junk, but the little ones went wild for them. I pretended to care because, well, that's what you do when you're 17 and don't want to look like a complete waste of space. The street was crowded. Families with strollers, couples with
like
styrofoam
Tony,
bowls
bro.
of chili, the marching band,
Y'all don't
hammering
know
out
who
some
Tony is.
screechy
That's my
version of
brother's
Sweet
girlfriend's
Caroline.
brother.
Booths and vendors lined up on both sides of the road. Cotton candy, face painting, raffle tickets for a quilt made by the Methodist ladies.
Yeah.
Above it all, paper lanterns bobbed in the cool October wind. For a while, it was all background noise, the normal. And then I took notice of something. 2 men, I guess they could have been kids, coming down the sidewalk in stiff lockstep. Both wore these crude paper mache masks, which were uncommon. Bulbous noses, lopsided grins, paint smeared on like clown makeup.
Heck no.
At first I assumed it had to be part of the festival, right? But nobody else's costume matched up with these guys. They stood out in a way that made me feel very uncomfortable.
Also,
They're really
subscribe to
tall
the
as well,
channel.
Eerily so.
Yeet.
Even from across the street where I stood, I could tell something was off about their arms. The way they swung low was hands almost dangling to their knees. Their bodies were narrow, compressed, like somebody had stretched them from head to toe. I immediately felt the hair on my neck stand up, though I couldn't have told you why.
You have hair on your neck?
When I told this story to a college friend, he told me that I experienced the uncanny valley effect. A woman and child passed by our booth right then, a mom with tired eyes holding her daughter's hand. The girl was carrying a candy apple bigger than her fist, red glaze catching the lamplight. She laughed, tugging at her mom to stop near the petting zoo. Normal, ordinary, safe.
Facts.
Lucy.
Nah, I'll tell you what. A lot of these, like, you have all these events and you have all this stuff going on, and like, you're going to a festival, right? And you feel like you're gonna be scared about something. You go there, have fun, right? Just go out there, have a good old time, and don't. Be careful with all the crackheads and creepy people, because there's a lot of people, you go no matter what, during the Halloween time, you'll have people drugged up and want to drag you into hell, but I would recommend don't go there. But yeah, that's just me.
American experience is all about. The masked men slowed as they passed, their crude grins frozen on us now. Nobody else seemed to notice, just me standing there with the ring in my hand, my throat now gone dry. Something about them pressed on me, but my instincts were telling me to run. My buddy next to me laughed, said they looked like scarecrows on stilts, but I kept watching until they disappeared off into the crowd. Okay, I'm imagining things, it's Halloween, whatever I'm doing, it's all in my head.
Yeah.
Seeing them melt off with normal people was a huge relief. Actually, as it meant, well, they were probably normal. Just leaning hard into the whole Halloween vibe, The band took a break and the PA whined. People were drifting toward chili and cider. We kept the rings moving and the line honest. The mother and the girl came back over. The girl's candy apple was half eaten. Red chips of sugar stuck to her fist. They crossed the alley between the barber shop and the antique place. A string of lights sagged above it. Half the bulbs were dead, so they were caught in some kind of darkness. Then, 10 steps behind them, though, the 2 masked men were altering their course the same way, and they turned like a rolling tide. You see that? I asked. He squinted. The sheriff stood by the dunk tank, towel over his shoulder, laughing with the volunteers. The mother glanced back, tightening her grip on the girl, and started to move faster. Then the tall guys went turbo, and quickly closed the distance in a second. They flanked the girls, and had them cornered before I knew it.
Why are y'all in the alley?
And ran. I heard Hayes swear and then followed me. It smelled like candy and popcorn, which was comforting in the moment, but my body was running on pure adrenaline. It was this really weird contrast in the moment.
In my soul.
They had the woman up against the wall, her
like
arm across the child, one man leaning up close. When I got closer, the mask wasn't this sloppily crafted thing. It was smooth and chalky, hairline cracks spidering that painted grin. Not a single inch of
Hairline
skin was
Craig.
exposed anywhere, despite all the long, creepy limbs. "Hey, back off," I said. They ignored me. The second man shifted so he could block the view. Hayes quickly grabbed up a folding chair and made like he was going to take a swing. One of the creeps turned around, but really only turning his head all the way around, almost like an owl would. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. Hayes then swung for real. Wrestler, no-nonsense kid.
Smack him with the chair.
The mask like powder. Under it was the same paste, impacted now, like that's what his face was actually made of.
Oh.
I hooked the girls and hauled off. They folded into me, heavy with fear. The man's hand slid off the mother's shoulders and left this gray smear on her blouse. The guy blocking us snapped this long arm at Hayes and caught his wrist. I heard Hayes scream. The elbow flexed and hyperextended, whatever you called it, and Hayes was reeling with pain. I kicked the man's shin, and I fully blasted him. I heard him grunt, and he let Hayes go. Then all of us retreated back to that ring toss booth. We pushed back into Maine. The crowd turned toward the noise now. A dad in a ball cap ran up with his hands balled up. A vendor grabbed this ladle like a weapon. Our principal then charged through, palms out, barking orders. Soon, a little posse of defenders had formed and started to circle those two guys. The tall men moved in these short, rapid steps that ate up the distance quickly. It was almost like watching crabs walk. One of them hit the deputy and sprinted over from the dunk tank.
Ow.
He knocked the officer into the bushes and then jumped on top of him, blows raining down.
Dang.
I was closest. I started to move in, which ended up being a big mistake. The second tall man slapped me in the ribs unbelievably hard. I can't even explain how. Pain then flared up and I doubled over. It was almost like getting hit with a brick. Hayes hauled me up and dragged me back to the booth, and the others cut in and circled. The little girl was now sobbing, and the mother kept whispering to her that it's okay. People flooded the alley and froze when they saw the faces. They didn't have weapons or anything. It was just how creepy they looked up close. People were calling for them to freeze, hold up, stand down, but nothing was getting through to them. They resorted to threats and still didn't get any kind of response. A folding chair then arced through the air.
Bro.
The guy didn't stumble.
WWE shit all over
moved
again,
toward
y'all.
the park end of Maine, where the pines stood tall and dark.
My God.
A plastic perimeter
classic.
fence ran
Classic
the end of the
shit.
line,
Classic.
and the men didn't
Classic.
jump it. They
Fuck.
slipped through the gaps, just off the ground, bodies flattening and sliding. The fence didn't make a sound as they passed through it. A deputy fired off into the tree line, a shot that cracked and vanished into the pines.
Boom.
You missed.
Then, noise rushed back. A generator stuttered. People screamed. We couldn't believe this idiot had just discharged a firearm, but after seeing that, I guess I don't really blame him. The mother sank to the curb, cradling her baby. Her blouse had that gray streak that flaked when she moved. The sheriff took everything in and barked out orders. Cones went up, police tape, radios. He tried drunks in masks, and it sounded weak. The deputy had gotten beaten down and didn't make eye contact with anybody. The statements had come in, they were tall and local. They weren't human. The mask
They
wouldn't
would
come
have
off.
been found.
Somebody
They probably
swore
would have
they
been
heard a
killed
laugh it sounded
and dead.
robotic, and others said there'd been no sound at all when they came in. It had everybody on this Men in
I'm
Black.
sorry. I
thing for
would
a
have
while.
beat their ass if I had.
EMTs
Two motherfuckers
would
that think
ice
they can do
Hayes'
that. It's
elbow and
funny.
taped it up. They checked
funny.
me and pressed a cold pack to my ribs. They wrapped the girl up in a foil blanket and coaxed her to sipping a bottle of water. She kept staring at the alley mouth, eyes blown wide like somebody had seen the other side of reality. By the time they got lights and bodies ready to search, the pines had already swallowed up any sign of them. The perimeter fence looked intact unless you peered up close, where a faint gray dust would paint some of the gaps. The sheriff closed the festival down early. Pack up, lock it down, post
That's how it's
cars.
supposed to
He
be.
ordered more lights, officers, and volunteers. People would nod along, but it was really bizarre to watch. I could tell nobody really knew what to do, so they were primed to buy into anything. We left in groups, and I walked home with
Alright guys, I'm going to end it here. If you want to go watch the rest of the video, you can go do that on the two channels. I'm going to put the two channels in the link in the description. Hope you guys have a blessed 2026. As you could tell, I've already had a banger so far with this video. I got more to come, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot more to react to. I got a lot more to go. So dangmattsmith, if you can hear me, Keep them coming, big dog. I love you guys. Peace.